let me just say thank you to all of you for the work you've done. This has been, I was mayor of Boston March of last year, and I worked very closely with Governor Baker. There was really no space at all between us during the pandemic, and just thank you for what you've done. I mean, it has not been easy. I know that you've done a lot of things. Governor Parson, I want to say to you, you had the great insight to hire the McChrystal Group in your great state, as I did in Boston, to help us with the pandemic. But I just want to say thank you for this last year. It's been really difficult year. Just my background real quick. I was a member of the Massachusetts House of Representatives from 1997 to 2013. So obviously I know the legislative process. I got elected mayor in 2013 to 14, got sworn in. I spent 7 years as mayor of Boston, and then I also have been Secretary of Labor now I'm in my fourth month, and really working as a person who is a legislator who worked across the aisle all the time. I had my disagreements. We had disagreements as Republicans and Democrats, but it was always on the floor. It was never personal. And then when I became the mayor of Boston, Charlie Baker got elected a year after I became mayor, and we have a true friendship today. And we had a true friendship our whole time there because we put people up front and up front always. I came down to Washington with the hope of being able to bring some of that bipartisan spirit with me as Secretary of Labor. And last week, the president was able to negotiate something that I know every governor in America is pretty happy about. A $1.2 trillion economic largest investment infrastructure in history. It's important for us. It's the biggest investment ever, as you know, in public transit, and the biggest investment in clean drinking water, in broadband access, in things that you care about that as governors and as a mayor, former mayor, that I care about. This agreement is a big win for the American people. It shows that we can work together and we can, cross the aisle and put our differences aside. And I think that's very good. It's also an important piece of legislation. It's becoming legislation for rural communities in our country, and making sure that rural communities also feel the investments, and making sure that people are understanding. You know this better than I do as governors that represent urban and rural and suburban areas, making sure those investments happen. These investments also go hand in hand with the president's Build Back Better agenda. This agenda includes things that are essential to economic success. I'm in California right now. That's why I'm trying to make this work. Historic investments in universal pre-kindergarten, free community college, two things which I brought to the city of Boston. I know that in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Governor Baker's working on that stuff now. High quality care for every family, home-based care for elderly parents, adult children, disabilities, boosting wages, research, development, and breakthroughs. We've seen all this stuff this year. You've seen, I should say, all this stuff this year, these different areas that have been hit so hard by the pandemic, and the vulnerabilities that our communities have and that our people have in these different areas. Economists across the board certainly agree that these investments will generate strong, sustainable economic growth for years to come. And the way the president wants to pay for this is by no one earning under $400,000, which is a good thing as we move forward. And obviously, talking about taxes as governors is always a tricky situation. It's not easy, but again, it's about an investment in the future of America, a future of your constituents. And so I look forward as we move forward on. I know that many of you are focused today on workforce development, and that's something that I'm focused on as well. It's a key part of our Build Back Better plan. A couple of weeks ago, the Department of Labor awarded $130 million in grants to 15 states to develop and modernize and diversify registered apprentice programs. Again, I know workforce development is key, as I took many votes as a legislator to support workforce development grants from the federal government. And as mayor of the city of Boston, I put a big emphasis in my office on workforce development because of the emerging industries that are coming into our areas, and making sure that that's the pathway out of poverty, by making sure we have these good, strong programs that are there so people get trained in them and have opportunities for success. So I look forward as we continue to move forward and working with each and every one of you. We're focused on one, making sure that these programs lead to good in-demand jobs, and two, increase equity in these programs for underrepresented workers. The fiscal 22 budget request, I have a hearing next week in front of Congress. We're working closely to reauthorize the WIOA Act, making sure that gets and I know that a lot of the states obviously depend on that. So we're going to continue to work on that. We want to continue to invest in training programs and make sure that we can get Americans into high quality jobs, fast growing sectors like public health, childcare, manufacturing, information technology, clean energy. I'm actually at a community college right now in California, and I just had a roundtable with childcare providers, and I'm sure you're all feeling this. They're having a hard time finding people to go to work there. And they're also having a hard time trying to get these centers reopened because they shut down completely, most of them during COVID. So I was just talking to one of the providers upstairs about what do we have available at the Department of Labor to try and create a better pathway there. So I just want to end with, listen, I appreciate the support. I appreciate your willingness to really coming out supporting the president's infrastructure plan. I appreciate that. I know he does as well. And I want you to know, as governors, my phone is always on for you. If I can ever be helpful on anything, or you want to talk to me about stuff, or when I get to your states, I'm going to try and come by and say hello the best I can when the opportunity presents itself, and anything I can do to move forward. I understand the political world, and it's about helping people, and that's what you do every day. So thank you for that.